Arsenal are through to the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup after a bit of a tricky, shaky game against Brighton. Arsenal, we ran out 2-0 winners, and we will be playing Crystal Palace at home in the quarter-final, a replay of last season as Crystal Palace absolutely battered the scumbags, the Scouse scumbags, 3-0. Hey, it's a whitewash. What did it say? Uno de pa. What did he say? Hey, pass the pad. Pass the money. Hey. But yeah, people. So, man, the game. How did that game go, man? The first half was very, very tricky. Brighton, they probably should have been, what, 2-0 up? At least 2-0 up because we were under siege, man. Literally, it started from like about 30 seconds in. Hincapié played a pass to Miles Lewis Skelly, which got intercepted. Then the ball went to Beliba, who had a shot. Kepa saved it, didn't parry it out. Then they just kept having chances after that. There was another chance. Arsenal got caught on the counter after a corner. Lucky. The player just wasted his time, man. Just Kepa came out and he just didn't even hit the target. He didn't even trouble Kepa. Kepa had a great game, sensational. And that Jorginho Rutter, he just caused us non-stop issues. Non-stop. That was the one danger man for Brighton, Rutter. But somehow we were able to get out of that first half with a clean sheet. The defense, they started to build into the game, but you could just see the team on the whole, there was no cohesion. Like the partnerships, you could see that, like the right back and the right centre back hadn't played together, left back, left centre. You could just see certain things that people hadn't played together, and then they couldn't connect the ball to the midfield. The midfield, yeah, we're going to talk about these things when I go into the takeaways, but you could just see that there was teething problems in that first half. But in cup football, if you don't, not just cup football, in football in general, if you don't take your chances, Brighton had their chances. If you don't take your chances, you will get punished. A team like Arsenal, one thing that I have to praise Arsenal for is the efficiency. Very efficient in front of goal. We don't need 100 chances. We just need sometimes half chances or a set piece, and that's it. The game could be done. So Brighton, you just knew that Arsenal weren't going to come out for the second half the same. And I was doing a watch along with Don-C, and something he said that Brighton, they're going to get punished. They're going to get punished. They've wasted their best chance to put Arsenal to the sword. And lo and behold, Arsenal came out a lot different in that second half. The centre-backs, Mosquera and Hincapié, you could see they were a lot more confident because they was building into that game. It was making last-ditch challenges solid. You could see the passion from their play. Obviously, Ben White, you didn't really see him too much in that game. I see a lot more of Miles Lewis Skelly still not scared to take that ball in dangerous areas in his defensive third and drive up the pitch. That is what makes him him. But at the same time, sometimes he just needs to know when to do it. That's what I would say. If we're winning a game, then maybe not do it. Or if a game's very close, maybe just ease off on it. But you don't want to take too much out of his game. But then we finally got the breakthrough. It was a wonderful team goal. Intricate passes, Eze to Marino, to Miles Lewis Skelly, to Ethan Nwaneri. And it was a great finish on his left foot across the goalkeeper. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Then we made some changes. And Timber drove up the pitch, put in the young boy. Boom, goalkeeper saves it. And Saka finishes the job. So the job was done. The job was done. 2-0. Trossard hit the post, could have made it 3. But there was still 1-2 chances for Brighton. Like I said, the defenders made last-ditch challenges. So we got a big up to them. Big up to Arteta for his team selection. Now we'll go into some takeaways for the game. I'll start from back to front. That's the best way to do it. So I'll start with the goalkeeper, Kepa. So Kepa in this game, he was probably the busiest player on the pitch. But everything that come his way, he dealt with. He dealt with it. Whether it was crosses into the box, whether it was coming off his line, whether it was holding shots and not parrying them out, he done his job. And that is what we asked for. Because if Raya is out, he might be called upon. And he's going to need to just be mature. He looks more mature from the Chelsea Kepa. That Chelsea Kepa had a big ego. He seems like he's been humbled now. Because he went from Chelsea. He done a little bit of a loan at Real Madrid. Then he went to Bournemouth, played the whole season there. He was very good there. Now he's on loan at Arsenal. Well, actually, no, we bought him. So, one thing I'd say, Kepa is I'm very, very happy with what I'm seeing from him. And I'm beginning to have a bit more faith that, especially with the actual defense, that he can be relied upon. It's not so much of a big issue. Like last season, that Neto guy, when he played, everybody had their hands in their head. It was I think it was Girona. Against Girona, he just looks like a maniac. He looks like a madman in goal. I think he was trying to run out the goal, trying to take people out. None of that from Kepa. He seems calm, relaxed, and he was probably the man of the match. He probably was. He done everything he needed to do. So Berta, Arteta, whoever identified Kepa as a replacement, a backup for Raya, magnificent, magnificent. And then we go into our defense. We had our 2 new centre-backs starting their first game together. I believe that might even be the first time they've been on the pitch at the same time. I might be wrong, but one thing I know, they both looked very comfortable. They looked so comfortable. Of course, in the first half, you could see there was teething issues. But in that second half, the 2 of them together, you feel a lot more confidence as an Arsenal fan that if Gabriel or Saliba say they're to miss 5 games, that one of these boys come in and you're like, okay, the drop-off, there's obviously going to be a slight drop-off. But so far, Mosquera certainly has not put a foot wrong other than that Newcastle game. The Newcastle game, the whole atmosphere, the occasion seemed to overrule him. But apart from that, he hasn't put a foot wrong. He literally hasn't. And Hincapié, his first start, like I said, he made a slight error in the first 30 seconds. But apart from that, he didn't put a foot wrong. I'd more say I didn't notice him as much in that game. I was like, oh, he's playing. He's made the block. That is what you want from your centre-backs. You want them sometimes to just go under the radar. Because when we had the Mustafis of this world, you always noticed him. Because he always used to do something crazy. Even Socrates, these type of centre-backs, you always notice them maybe 7 times in a game. 5 times something bad, 2 times something spectacular. But now, our centre-backs, you're more noticing them for good things. So, I'm very, very relaxed about these centre-backs. And I look forward to seeing more of Hincapié, because I won't say that I was paying him the ultimate attention. So that just tells me that he done well. He done well. And so did Mosquera. Lewis Skelly got an assist, continues his driving runs forward. So once again, Mars Lewis Skelly, he's starting to prove that he's got a role to play in this team. There is a role for him to play, because we know Calafiori does get injured. So Mars Lewis Skelly, he's definitely more than an adequate backup and can probably start some games more often than not. As for Benny Blanco, yeah, I don't know, man. He seems to just not be up to speed. That's the best way of putting it. He's not up to speed, but we just hope that sooner rather than later he gets back up to speed and you're able to see them overlapping runs, him getting up and down, because that was probably his key strength. When he was at his best, he was up and down. There was a bit where he showed his class. I think it was the nutmeg. It was naughty. He nutmegged someone. He always likes nutmegging people. But I feel like he's just lacking that bit of fitness. And once his fitness gets up to speed, that's when we'll be more able to rely on him and rest Timber more often than not, because this was probably a game he should be getting 90 minutes. Timber shouldn't really need to come on in this game, but we've seen Timber came on and he's just proved why he's the guy now. He's the guy. He's popped Benny Blanco's chain, but it is what it is, man. This is just football, brother. You have to fight for your split place. We move into the midfield, so this is probably the one negative I will say. Christian Norgard, there's nothing that is telling me that he will be able to play as a single pivot in the midfield. I've not seen anything from pre-season to now. I just can't see him being a single pivot in the midfield. If he's to play in the midfield in the Zubimendi absence, then it's going to have to be with Declan Rice next to him. It's literally going to have to be a double pivot, because it just seems like he doesn't know the position. There always seems to be big gaps. Every time I see it, there's big gaps in the midfield when I see him play. I've seen him play with Declan Rice, I believe, in pre-season. So I've seen him, and it's just, there always seems to be a big gap, like he's out of space. He's too far over on the right, or he's too far over on the left, instead of being centrally being able to protect that back line. It seems to happen quite a lot, and the midfield seems very, very open. Like teams are just able to drive through the middle. So I'm sure Arteta's probably thinking this as well. So if we are to play Norgard in the midfield in Zubimendi's absence, it's definitely got to be in a double pivot. Like, you could never ever dream of playing Norgard, Eze and Odegaard. That is impossible. Literally, that will just be like a donut, a ring donut. They're just going to be penetrating the middle, because I wouldn't say he's the quickest. He's not slow, but I don't know. He doesn't seem to eat up the ground. He seems a bit slow. So yeah, that's the one sort of criticism I'd have. And it's not really too much of a criticism. It's more an observation that Norgard cannot play as a single pivot in the midfield under no circumstances. So that's even, I'd say, Norgard, Declan Rice, left 8. No, none of this. None of that. They've got to be side by side. So We had Marino and Ethan in the midfield. A bit of a sort of hit and miss. Ethan done well. Marino, you sort of see him here and there, but I'm not really going to judge that midfield, so I'd sort of leave that out. Then we had the forward areas. Eze seems very hot and cold. He's very hot and cold, Eze. I don't know what it is about him. Like, in glimpses, you'll see him get involved and then he'll just go missing for like 30 minutes. He's yet to really, like, I don't know, like, get me off my seat properly in the Arsenal shirt. I know at Palace last season, I remember he had that crazy purple patch. So maybe that's what he is. Maybe he's a purple patch player and there's going to be spells in a season where he's going to be so hot that he becomes undroppable. And then there might be spells in a season where you're like, you know what, just let him come off the bench. That's how Eze seems to me. I don't know if you're going to be relying on him nearly every game in that 10/midfield position, because like I say, he seems to sometimes drift in and out of games. So that's for Eze. Max Dowman. Now Max, he's a player. He just gets me off my feet. Anytime he gets the ball, I'm like, yeah, what's he going to do next? And whoever that left back was who had the torrid time. Max Dowman had him on toast. He had him on toast. It just seemed like the guy wanted to kick him. He wanted to kick him. Was it a dive when he went into the box? I don't know. Maybe it was a dive. So maybe he needs to watch out. I don't want to see him diving. If you feel contact, then go down. But don't be trying to anticipate contact. Feel it and then go down. That's what I'd say. That's the one little criticism I have of Max. Just know. Be a little bit more cleverer, because the penalties you've got, some of them have been debatable. People have been saying, oh, he's diving. So he just needs to be a little bit more clever, because sooner or later, this is where the agendas start. People have agendas against you and be like, look, he's a diver. And then you won't get penalties, even when you should get penalties. So he needs to be more cute. Like a Harry Kane. Harry Kane was the best. He's what I call the best diver, because he anticipates the contact. You'll see him, he'll back into a player and then win a foul. He was very smart. And Max, as he gets older, I'd like to see him a bit more cleverer with his diving technique, if that's how we're going to say it. But apart from that, it was a very, very assured performance in his first start in the Arsenal shirt for the young 15-year-old. He doesn't have school in the morning. It is half term. So, yeah, Max Dowman, I'm very, very excited to see what else you can do in the future. He's just 15. He's one of the best under 18s in world football. And he can only get better. And hopefully he gets a start against Crystal Palace in the next round. I'd like to see him start. Wouldn't see too much changes, but yeah, glad to see him start. The other young boy, he played his part in the goal. So yeah, apart from that, I didn't see him too many times, but his shot went to Saka, and yeah, Saka got the goal to finish off the game. And as for Mikel Arteta, I've got to praise Mikel Arteta. Well done to Mikel Arteta, man. He's doing, like, everything he's doing, you can't really fault him. Ever since that Manchester City game, it's just like he's clicked. He's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to just play the players in the right positions, and I'm not going to oversimplify things. I'm just going to do the right thing. I don't know if he's been listening to people like me when I'm saying don't play the haram midfield, but ever since then, I can't criticize him. Even his subs, he made the subs at the right time. He made the triple substitution. Timber Saka, Gabriel, all came on to see out the game. They didn't just see out the game. They went and won the game, got the second. So you just got to give Arteta praise. Everything from the team lineup, everything he's doing. So, Arteta, go and now try and win this trophy. We're, 3 games away from Wembley. Quarter-final and the 2-leg semi. Hopefully, it's Newcastle again. That's what I want to see. Newcastle again. Because they can't beat us twice. They can't do us. They can't do us again. The boys are going to have fire in their belly. We've already done them once at St. James's. I want to do them again. So, Arsenal through to the quarter-final against Crystal Palace. I hope you enjoyed my match reaction. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're 27 away from 1K. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel, people, man. But I'm out of here, man. I hope you enjoyed it. Bless.